Robert Altman, one of the most unique and prestigious American film directors, collaborated with John Williams on some episodes of the television series Kraft Suspense Theater. Altman directed and Williams composed the music. In cinema, however, they only made 2 films, both of which were atypical for John Williams. One of these films featured his most experimental and unusual soundtrack, while the other was his most bizarre and sarcastic. Images, 1972, was Robert Altman's first British film and one of the strangest films of its time. It explores the fractured mind of a children's book writer who, after receiving some intimidating phone calls, moves with her husband to a remote house in the Irish countryside. However, during this period of isolation, her mind begins to deteriorate and she starts to experience strange visions, such as her husband transforming into a deceased ex-lover or her own evil doppelganger. The duality between reason and madness, and between emotional fragility and paranoia, is also expressed musically, with a melodic, melancholic theme alongside chaotic, unpredictable atonal music. John Williams created this music by studying the glass sculptures of brothers François and Bernard Bachet, whose sounds reflect the protagonist's psychotic breakdowns. To play these sculptures, Williams enlisted the help of Japanese artist Tsutomu Yamashita, who also incorporated moans and growls. This contrast is established from the very beginning of the film.
Delicate, questing, perfect, with arched neck and a single slender horn. "So frisky," she cried, "so frisky, what was it? What did I see?"
The opening credits feature 2 dramatic scenes accompanied by music. An interior scene with a calm, thoughtful female voiceover. Then there is the exterior, which we later learn is also the interior. Here it appears to threaten the peace and harmony.
Straight past his nose zoomed 7 enormous butterflies with eyes like stars and bright blue wings, and each one was humming.
She seems oblivious to the musical dialogue.
The stone circle was shrouded in stillness. There was no whisker of wind, but the holy trees swayed and tossed, as if in the grip of some terrible storm.
Which ultimately leads to the phone call that will trigger the nightmare.
Quarrelsome, peaceful, jealous and kind, cowardly, brave, happy and sad, as man-children have been since the dawn of time.
The duality of the 2 pieces of music does not last long, as the sentimental theme gradually loses prominence to the dominant music of paranoia. This music becomes increasingly internal until it completely dominates the woman. The sentimental theme is linked to the story she tells.
Deeper than any of her unicorn treks, Una went into the forest. She was catching hints of animals she had never seen. Eyes like yellow coals gleamed out of thickets. A horny tail rose from a bush.
The only exception is the scene of marital tranquility, which shows the character experiencing a moment of emotional calm.
Go and do the shopping.
Yeah, I made a list. I'm going to leave in a few minutes. There.
Did you put down wine?
Yeah.
And maybe we ought to get some steaks or something.
Yeah, I made the list. It's all there.
It is an oasis because, in everything else, Williams's music represents chaos and absolute madness. images, Robert Altman relied entirely on John Williams' contribution, and Williams was fully committed to Altman's vision of offering the audience a visual and sensory experience rather than a traditional narrative. The result was a strange, atypical, complex, and challenging film that was also highly original and courageous. It was a crazy project, but the director and composer were going to collaborate on another, this time much more enjoyable and entertaining.
It's a long goodbye.
Here's a very bizarre scene indeed. Mark Rydell, the director of films such as The Ravers, The Cowboys, Cinderella Liberty, and The River, all of which feature music by John Williams, can be seen humming John Williams music in this Robert Altman film, in which he plays the villain. But he's humming John Williams's music, you know?
Marlo, how nice to see you.
In 1973, Altman adapted Raymond Chandler's novel The Long Goodbye. In the film, Detective Philip Marlowe agrees to do a favor for a friend and accompanies him to Mexico. On his return, however, he is accused of complicity in the murder of his friend's wife and decides to investigate. Altman set the action in the 1970s to create one of his typically sarcastic and cynical portraits of contemporary American society. There are some similarities with Carol Reed's The Third Man. Both protagonists find themselves in unfamiliar environments where they do not fit in, and both are caught up in criminal plots involving traitorous friends. There are also very similar endings, with a single musical theme repeated or varied insistently throughout. In Carol Reed's film, this was the memorable music of Anton Karas. In Robert Altman's film, it was the equally memorable music of John Williams. The music theme first appears in the scene before the opening credits, in which Philip Marlowe is bored in his apartment, trying to feed his cat something it likes.
Oh, yeah, I can't do better than that at Chase. Good, kid. Come on. Kid, you're hungry, right?
This is the first of around 25 appearances the music will make throughout the film, in various forms. Philip Marlowe sings it. The bartender sings it.
And it happens every day when some passerby invites your eye to come her way.
As we have already seen, the villain of the film sings it.
It's a long goodbye, and it happens every day.
In the opening credits, it is sung by a male voice.
It's a long goodbye, and it happens every day.
It is also sung by a female voice.
And it happens every day when some passerby invites your eye to come his way.
The female voice sings it again in some scenes of the film.
Long goodbye. Can you recognize the theme?
It is played diegetically in the supermarket.
Hey, excuse me, I don't see any Curry brand cat food.
Some what?
Curry brand cat food.
Hey,
it happens to
can you
be the
spell
only
that for
kind
me,
of food.
please?
Yeah, Curry brand. C-O-U-R.
Oh, we're all of that.
Curry
Why
brand.
don't you get this, mister? All this shit is the same anyway.
Oh, yeah? You don't happen to have a cat by any chance?
What do
do
I
you?
need a cat for? I got a girl.
Ha-ha.
The bartender also plays it.
Are you practicing for the hit parade?
Gotta learn this goddamn thing. Thinks it'll beef up the lunch trade.
Oh, yeah, I don't see anybody waiting online.
As cheap as I work, you cannot lose.
It is played on the car radio. The hippie neighbors dance to a psychedelic version of it.
Oh, it's all the new Rockettes. They're just training. They don't got no tap shoes yet.
I can't believe what I'm looking at.
In Mexico, a funeral procession accompanies a dead man to the sound of the music. Even the opening notes of the song are heard on a doorbell. The theme brings warmth and a touch of melancholy to some scenes. There are several Mexican versions of it. It also sounds beautiful and dynamic in a jazz arrangement.
Hey, Mrs. Wade!
A lone guitar accompanies Marlowe on his lonely search for the man he thought was his friend, who turned out to be a murderer. After the reckoning, the music is dramatic, twilight and gloomy. Marlowe puts an instrument in his mouth, marking the first change in the film's music. Life will go on for him, but not with that music.
Hooray for Hollywood! That's good, we